This is our first show of 2023, and this is also the very first episode of the Spotlight of Season 6. Yeah. I also want to mention that we are somewhat temporarily coming to you from the Eminent Firehouse Studios, which is where the Spotlight originally began 6 years ago in January 2017. So we are here temporarily since they're still working on the brand new set after the Big Bad Wolf blew something. I ain't saying who, or what it is, but all I could say is stay tuned for the new set coming soon, okay? So, also, our search for new youth co-hosts continues as Crystal Askew is still focusing on getting her master's degree at John Jay College and currently focusing on other things as well, both on and off set here. So, in the meantime, it's just me here today, so let's just get right into it, shall we, here? Because I want to take a quick moment here and just, tell you more about the new studio, basically, here first thing here, because, where we used to tape, it was further down south. It's on 59th here. So the thing about it is it's now going to become a, excuse me if my voice is not that good, but it's going to become a nonprofit housing services for the homeless, basically, where we used to tape our old show back in our old home before here, which was a big space here. So, but it's going to become more of a nonprofit housing and services for the homeless, basically. They'll be located right across the street from John Jay College here. All right, but the new construction plans for the project renewal call for a women's shelter that will assist 200 women with housing and mental health services. And the new building is expected to open in 2024, basically. So there's a little information about that. So just so you know of what that new space, of that space where we used to tape our show will become here. All right. So, but there's also breaking news that occurred before we enter 2023, and that's this Barbara Walters, and a true icon here. Barbara Walters died at her home in New York City on December 30th at the age of 93. She was a trailblazing, iconic journalist who did a lot of interviews on the Barbara Walters Special, 2020, and The View, And I gotta tell you, Barbara has spent the last 50 years in television, the last 38 years at ABC. Excuse me. First co-anchoring the ABC Evening News with Harry Reasoner and becoming the first female co-host of NBC's Today Show. And she's interviewed every president since Richard Nixon to I'd say Obama as well. And one of the reasons Barbara Walters gave me an inspiration when she created The View, because years later, it gave me an idea of creating this show where you don't see a show where us young people or youth discussing the issues around us. So I wanted us, and so that's how I got inspired by her in creating the Spotlight. And I give Barbara Walters a sincere thank you for allowing us to have our own platforms and everything else. But I'll tell you one thing, Barbara Walters will sure be missed, and I will miss hearing her say 2020 as always, because she had a way of saying it, and it was really funny and just so rhythmatic as well. So rest in peace, Barbara Walters. You will be missed. We'll be right back, y'all.
How do you say goodbye to something like 50 years in television? No need anymore to head a news magazine like 2020 as I did for something like a quarter of a century. Makes my head ache. No need to think of covering my head when interviewing such majesties as the King of Saudi Arabia. And no need to be apprehensive about interviewing the non-majesty, the President of Syria. But also no feeling of the peace that warmed me when I met with the Dalai Lama or the sense of accomplishment trying to navigate between the competing heads of Egypt and Israel. What an honor to have questioned every U.S. president and first lady from Richard and Pat to Barack and Michelle. So how do you walk away from glamorous specials with the Toms, Hanks and Cruz, or flirt with Clint Eastwood? Maybe it's my time for him. And pay homage to one-of-a-kind women like Bette Davis and Angelina Jolie. And how do you create a television show called The View that puts together these wonderful women, all of them over the years, who have shared their contrasting opinions? And finally, how proud when I see all the young women who are making and reporting the news. If I did anything to help that happen, that's my legacy. From the bottom of my heart to all of you with whom I have worked, and to all of you who have watched and been at my side for so many years, I can say thank you. Maybe instead of goodbye, I should take a deep breath and enjoy my view. Thank you.